Mr. Rohrabacher.
Let me thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank Mr. Lantos for the leadership that you two have provided on this issue. It's time to get on with it.
I can't hear you.
It's time to get on with it. We've wasted so much time while the lives of these people just go on and on. The young people in Kosovo feel helpless, and unless we move and act to recognize that they have the rights as everyone else to control their own destiny through the ballot box, they're going to be just as angry as Americans would be in the same situation. We shouldn't permit the rights of our young people ever to be violated such, and we should consider the people of Kosovo just as on an equal level with our own people. It's time to get on with this job, give them their rights, give them the right to vote and control their own country, and to have a democratically elected government. This administration, if it is serious about promoting democracy, which we hear from the president all the time, can start with Kosovo, and it's a great place to start because we can do it so easily.
The gentleman's time
Thank you. Thank you very much, and I join my colleagues in congratulating the administration at long last, determining that it's time to do something. My first reaction is, you're late. But that set aside, it's time to get on with it, as I mentioned in my opening statement, and I'm very pleased that this administration has decided, yes, let's get on with this and try to find a solution. The solution to me seems very easy, and I don't know why we have to set up this convoluted process of having a United Nations advisor down there. We have senior UN diplomat determine if the final status talks are ready, and then a senior European negotiator. What's to negotiate? What's to determine? The people of Kosovo have a right to determine their own future through the ballot box, just as every other group of people in this world. There's nothing to determine there. Either we are Americans and we believe that, or we don't. The president talks about democracy as being an important part of his administration, and a very important goal, important value that we're putting forward, a priority value, let's say. Well, this is the way to prove it right here. Why should we be taking into consideration what the Serbs and the Montenegrins want to do about the political future of the Kosovars? It's the Kosovars who are the ones who need to determine that. If we believe in democracy, it's time to let the people of Kosovo have an election, determine their own leaders.
I'll summarize my testimony totally. Vital interest not to create a seeming contradiction between calling for free and fair elections and democracy in Iraq and Ukraine on the one hand, and then denying the democratic process in Kosovo, something about which Congressman Rohrabacher has spoken so eloquently. It's in the vital interest of the United States to have a progressive Muslim Albanian majority in the heart of Europe. It's in the vital interest of the United States that Albanians are the most pro-American, pro-Western ethnic group in Southeast Europe and maybe in all of Europe. When America was attacked on 9/11, many countries danced in the streets while Kosovar Albanians lit candles, had vigils, and said, "We are with you." It's in the vital interest of the United States to provide genuine support for the democratization of all societies emerging from communism and ultranationalism. And this means that it must come to grips with the fact that U.S. policy in the past 15 years has failed to denazify and democratize Serbia. It's not enough simply to pick up Mladic and Karadzic to come to grips with the situation in which Serbia continues to be a quasi-mafia state that destabilizes its neighbors, and Serbs are being hurt by that.
Thank you very much, Mrs. DioGuardi. Mr. Rohrabacher.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Joe and Shirley DioGuardi for the hard work that they put out on this issue and this cause over the years. And it's been vitally important that a group of people in desperate situations in another part of the world were given direction on how to state their case and how to make sure people understood what was going on through the very complicated democratic process in the United States. So I think Joe and Shirley have done a tremendous job in making sure that we got the picture of what was going on instead of a blurred picture of what was going on there. I'd like to make one note for the record, Mr. Chairman. That is that when we do talk about the United Nations, what the administration seems to believe that the United Nations now should play a role in this process, and we're going to have United Nations representatives there as some negotiators or reconciliators, democratic reconciliators. I just wonder, Mr. Chairman, if those United Nations representatives will be from democratic countries or not. And I'm sorry I didn't have our representative here from the administration. It seems that perhaps a large number of countries in the United Nations are not democratic, and sending perhaps people from China or North Korea or any of these other great countries, Burma, to come to help the Kosovars negotiate for democracy wouldn't really be of great service. And that's why the United States has to make decisions rather than leaving it up to the United Nations. Because in the United Nations there is a tremendous, let's say, influence of people who do not believe in democracy and the value of liberty and justice.